You need to get off your ass and you need to work. Because if you want change, if you want real measurable change, it comes from you. It doesn't come from me. It comes from you. So get up there, do something about everything that you hate that's happening right now in our world. Do something about it.
Hi everyone, Rukshan here with Avi Yemini, and we have a special guest in our studio today, Senator Ralph Babet.
Welcome.
You.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here, boys. I'm very excited. I'm pumped. It's finally all over with. And we're here. We've done it. The UAP has a senator in Canberra in federal parliament. And when the UAP has a senator in federal parliament, we all have a senator in federal parliament. The entire freedom movement, every single one of us. So let's get to work.
Well, I guess my question will be how it's been suspenseful. We were in Davos watching the election. I remember sitting there on the couch and we had to really contemplate that trip. And the big question was, do we go because it was smack bang in the middle of the election, or do we stay in Australia? And we decided at the end to travel to Davos because we realised that a lot of the decisions didn't matter whether it was Liberal or Labor that were going to hold the balance of power here or the government, but the decisions are decided there in Davos. And I remember sitting there on the couch looking at you going, well, thank goodness, thank goodness, thank goodness we are in Davos.
Yeah, I mean, the view outside the window was beautiful, but what we were watching on the television, that was like a bit of a bloodbath, wasn't it?
It was. So, and even at that time, we didn't know where you stood.
Yeah,
it was unclear.
Yeah.
How was the last 4 weeks?
Oh, the last 4 weeks. Fellas, the last 4 weeks has been very, very, very stressful. Lack of sleep. I wasn't eating at some points. I was very, very, very nervous because I realized that, hey, this is not just about the UAP. This is not just about me. This is now about the whole of Victoria. This is now about the whole of Australia. Now, it's good that you mentioned Davos. Like you said, a lot of those big decisions eventually will flow down to Australia. So I'm glad that you both went there and you both covered it. I watched a vlog that you guys did when you were there. Loved it. Very funny. If anyone out there hasn't seen it, please go check it out. So
I like you, Senator.
It's on YouTube. It's on Rebel News. It's on Rumble as well, right? So check that out.
It's
well worth your 1 hour.
Rukshan.
1 hour of quality footage. So I am so glad that we were able to come up and we were able to get this last and final seat in Victoria. But the important thing is this. This is just the beginning, right? So we've started a movement here. So it starts with the UAP. It starts with the freedom movement overall having representation, genuine representation in Canberra. And from here, we're going to move forward. We're going to grow the movement, and who knows where it's going to end up in 6 months, in 3 months even, at the next election in Victoria, because although it is a state election, obviously the UAP is going to have a presence there as well. But back to how I was feeling, I was very nervous, I was very excited, and obviously now I'm very relieved.
4 weeks of not knowing. I reckon I felt his pain.
Oh, the pain was real. I tell you what, the pain was real. I felt it. I felt it every single day. Sleepless nights, lying in bed at 3 in the morning, wondering what's going to happen next. You know, are we going to be able to get up? And when I say we, I mean all of us. I just don't mean we. I mean us as a movement overall.
Well, now that you've gotten up, you know, you've won the seat. What's it like? I guess the reception to you afterwards, because a lot of the coverage I've seen is, you know, Senator Babet, the $100 million man. You know, we're standing next to a man that's
$100 million. Hey, this is from Amazon.com, all right? That's where this is from.
I mean, that's how it's been framed.
Yeah, look, yeah, obviously, you know, approximately $100 million was spent in the campaign. Now, we had to spend that money. Why did we have to spend that money? Because ideas are forever. Right? We had to get our ideas out there into the public, into the mainstream. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have the benefit of being Liberal or Labor or the Greens, for example. But you know what? They spent about the same as what we did. Plus, they got all the free mainstream media airtime as well. Free media on TV, free media in the newspaper. They were able to get their message out. We were not. We were, for lack of a better word, censored. That's what we were. And the only way that we could get our message out was to pay for it. And that's really unfortunate. That's not democracy. In a democracy, everyone should have a voice, whether you agree with these people or not, but everyone should be able to speak. And what was our message? Our message was predominantly freedom, but not just freedom from COVID mandates, right? Freedom to own your own home, to not have to pay exorbitant amounts of interest, to not have to bend the knee to a government which mismanages the economy to the point where a lot of people are now going to suffer, and we're suffering right now through inflation, as an example. At the moment, inflation is sitting over 5%, right? Now, most people, well, some people may not know what inflation is. Inflation is a hidden tax on the public, right? It essentially means that your money is worth less over time, year on year. That's what it is. And we're seeing, rampant inflation right now because the Labor Party and the Liberal Party have mismanaged the economy. So when I say freedom, I mean all of these things. Freedom to own a home, freedom to be able to speak. Yeah? So there you go.
Does Clive and does the party feel like $100 million well spent when they
Absolutely.
got this?
Absolutely. It's money well spent.
If I ask him the same question, will he say the same?
Absolutely he will. Absolutely he will. Because what we're doing right now is we're creating a new narrative. Yeah. We're changing people's minds. We're saying, hey, you've lived under a duopoly for as long as Australia has existed. Now there is a real option. There's a third option, a genuine third option of people who care about the country, people who are patriots, people who love Australia. Now you got it. I'm here. We're here.
I guess that goes into the next question. How do you guys feel about the general result of the entire election? Now, $100 million spent. Yep. They got you. You say it's opened the idea for the conversation and the ideas of freedom. Detractors would probably argue, well, if anything, you didn't gain anything. You had one senator last time before the election, and you have one now.
Yeah. Look, to those people that would detract, I would say, listen, we were up against an established two-party system here. Okay, we were up against it from day dot. I think we did very, very well to put into the minds of people out there that there is a genuine third option, and that genuine third option is the United Australia Party. We're here to serve. We're here to do the right thing by our country. We're here to be to do the right thing by every single ordinary man, woman, and child out there. Now, with the freedom movement in general, I believe that the freedom movement was a little bit fragmented. I believe that the right-leaning parties are naturally inclined not to work together because we're all individuals. We all want to win. We all want to be first, etc. Whereas on the left-hand side of politics, those parties are more inclined to, for lack of a better term, bend the knee, so to speak. And they're more collective in their thinking, more likely to work together. So what I think we saw was those more left-leaning parties funneling their preferences more so towards the Labor Party or the Greens Party overwhelmingly. And on the right side of politics, it was a bit of this, bit of that, bit of UAP, bit of whoever else. Right? So I think moving especially into the Victorian election, we need to be very mindful of that. We need to cut the division, and we need to make sure that we all unite behind the United Australia Party. Speaking of which, I believe that the Labor Party had a 32% first preference vote or something of that nature. So that's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the lowest first preference votes that they've ever had. So what that tells us is that people are ready for change. People want change, but they just didn't know how to go about it. Well, guess what? Now they know. Vote one UAP at the next state election.
Well, I guess, you've been through all this with the freedom movement, but going into Parliament now, into a hostile Parliament in many ways, in terms of
hostile.
In terms
that's an understatement.
In terms of the concepts we discuss around freedom and a lot of the things that you've mentioned, you're working with a group of people who aren't really for the same type of ideas, right? How are you going to be able to cut across all of that and be effective and also show people that, hey, voting for freedom candidates will actually make a difference.
Yeah. You know what? My job from here on, my job is to bring awareness to everything that these parliamentarians in Canberra are getting up to shine a light into the darkness. That's my job. I'm a spokesperson for truth. I'm a spokesperson for Australia. I'm a patriot. I love the country, and that's what I'm going to do moving forward. I'm going to be a thorn in their side. A thorn in their side for the next 6 years. And God willing, in 3 years' time, at the next federal election, we're going to have many more United Australia Party members standing there right next to me. And hopefully, God willing again, we will get the balance of power. Then we'll show them what's up. Then we'll show them that they can't mess with Australia. Then we'll show them that they can't mess with ordinary mums, dads, and their kids. They can't do that. I've had enough of it. I'm sure everyone who's watching out there has had enough of it as well. We need politicians in Canberra who love this country, who care about Australia, who care about ordinary, hard-working people. That's what we need. And that's what I'm here to champion. And I'll champion that every single day from here on.
Speaking of ordinary people, I know before the election we had the debates. We got to see a little bit of you. Who do you think you are?
Who do I think I am? Well, I'm a $100 million man, obviously. According to Twitter, I'm a right-wing racist extremist. That's what I am. These
we
people
all are white supremacists.
I'm a white supremacist, according to Twitter. Look, what I am at the end of the day is I'm someone who's passionate, who's driven, who's dedicated, who loves Australia. I wasn't born here. I don't know if you guys can tell that, but I was actually born in a very small island called Rodrigues, which is near Madagascar. That's where I was born. I came here when I was about 7 years of age. My parents brought me to Australia for a better life, And I love Australia. It is the best country in the world. If there was an Australian flag right here, right now, I would wrap myself up in that thing. I would.
No, we've got to stop it. Adam Bant won't like that.
He didn't like that one? He didn't like that one? I mean, to go on a side note here, and I don't want to sound like I'm being disrespectful to anyone, but I feel like I should say this. I mean, we had soldiers go overseas during many world wars, die for our country, die for freedom. Then they came back home in a casket draped in the Australian flag. Now, no matter what your thoughts are on the Australian flag, you shouldn't be moving it out of the way. You should be wrapping yourself up in that thing going, I love this red, white and blue. I love the Southern Cross. That's what they should be doing, him. That's what he should have been doing. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm someone that's here to fight for this country. That's what I am.
Nice. That's amazing, man. And I guess on the flag issue, because we're discussing that now, why do you think it is that, immigrants like yourself, myself included,
Great question.
We love our country. We love the flag. We, are really respectful of the things that we've been given by this country.
Yeah,
and we could never disrespect the flag in this manner.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's that inner city politicians who are mostly white have this thing where they want to remove that from all of us?
I know what hardship looks like. I've traveled the world. I've been overseas. I've seen how people live in other countries. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've seen it. Even where I grew up, it's a great place. But it is a small island. I've been to everywhere, and when I see how people live in other countries, I come back home. I realize how great this country is. This is the best country in the world. You can do whatever you want in this country if you try, if you work, if you put in the effort, if you put in the hours. You could be whatever you want. You can be as successful as you want to be, whatever it is. You can be an actor. You can be a business person. You can be a troll on Twitter, whatever you want, right? Whatever you want.
We might unmask you in that case.
Yeah. But the great thing about Australia is you have options. You have options. You have a stable country where you can be and achieve. And that's why I love this country so much. And you don't have that in some other places around the world. And I recognize that because I've seen what it's like out there. And I don't think a lot of these inner city elitists have ever been out there and seen what it's like out there. Because if they did, they would stop trashing our flag and they would stop trashing our country and they would stop saying how bad everything is here. Because it's not. It's not bad. It's great.
Well, some people would argue, though, the last couple of years has been pretty shonky, and a lot of the stuff that you say that we can and get to do here, we haven't been able to do here.
Yeah. speaking of the last couple of years, that's what really got me fired up. I was always fired up about what was going on in this country, but that's what really tipped me over the edge. The last 2 years has been an absolute tragedy. The fact that we allowed our elected representatives to do what they did to us unscientifically is an absolute crime against this country and this state. And that's really something that the United Australia Party is going to really focus on in the next election coming up in November. We're gonna have candidates standing up, putting their names forward, and we're gonna try our darndest to bring change to this state and by extension the country, because it all starts here. It all starts here, and we've had enough. We've had enough of people not caring about us.
So you never saw yourself as a politician.
You know what?
You know, like you were born of the fires of whatever happened during the last 2 years. Like that's what drove you.
I never wanted to be a career politician. I think that the career politician is an absolute blight on society. A blight on society. A politician should not be a career politician. A politician should be someone that's lived a life, that's paid a mortgage, that's missed a couple of phone bills, right? An ordinary person that's living somewhere in suburbia that said, okay, I want to do better for my country. I want to stand up. I want to sacrifice and serve for the betterment of my community. That's what they should be. Not someone that's grown up thinking that's all that they've ever wanted to do in their life. I'll give you an example. Daniel Andrews. Yeah? Daniel Andrews. Daniel Andrews finishes university approximately 1996. Approximately. He goes to work for a federal MP named, I think it's Alan Griffith or Alan Griffin. I can't remember exactly. Okay. So he goes to work for him. Moves around the Labor Party machine for a while. Hasn't had a real job, so to speak. Hasn't lived a life outside of politics, so to speak. Not in any meaningful way. Moves around there for a while. Waits for a safe Labor seat. That's what he does. Safe Labor seat pops up, which is a seat of Mulgrave, as we all know. Pops up, he's like, oh, I'll throw my hat in for that. Gets elected, he's been there ever since. He's never lived a normal life. He's never been you or been me or been one of us. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that. So because he's so disconnected from the regular average person, I think he's a great example of what a career politician is. And I think he's a great example of what a politician should not be. Does that make sense?
100%. I think, but though there was a scoop in all that he said, I think he owes phone bills. There's some debts that you might.
I've missed a few phone bills here and there. You know, who hasn't missed a few of those Telstra phone bills? Can I say Telstra? I don't know if I can. Probably get an email from their lawyers.
We're currently in court. Let's not talk about that right now. Was there anything you wanted to add to that?
Look, I mean, 4 years from when is the next election? 6 years. 6 years from 6 years from now. What do you think? Will you be running again, or?
I want to say no. I want to say no, because I don't want to become a career politician. Yeah, I have no desire to lord over other people. I have no desire to sit in that political machine for the rest of my life. What I want to do is I want to come in. I want to make change. I want to bring awareness, and I want to set the stage for others to come next. That's what I want to happen. I want you out there, the average person who's watching this broadcast, I want you to stand up. I want you to say, I've had enough. I want you to say, I'm sick of the political machine not caring about us as genuine, hard-working people. I want you to run for office. I want you to run for the council. I want you to go to your parent, student, teacher meetings at school and say, I'm not okay with what's happening. That's what you need to do. You need to get off your ass and you need to work. Because if you want change, if you want real, measurable change, it comes from you. It doesn't come from me. It comes from you. So get up there, do something about everything that you hate that's happening right now in our world. Do something about it.
I might run.
Rukshan's going to run. Like for politics or from
here?
From Adam Ban.
From Adam
White
Ban.
privilege.
From Adam Ban. Well, he's my representative.
He's your representative. Did you vote for him?
Huh?
What? Yeah. Okay.
No comment.
Well, congrats. As we say, Mazel Tov. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
We're obviously we've been following the story, the freedom, the freedom candidates the whole way through, but we will stay on you from here on in for the next 6 years. We'll make sure to hold you to account and make sure that you keep your promises and that you fight for the everyday person that I'm sure voted for you. But well done. Really happy to see a friendly face actually make it through what was an annihilation, eh?
Yeah,
It was rough.
it was rough.
It was rough, but we got there.
If you enjoyed this first exclusive interview with any media, and that has nothing really to do with us, it was more to do with them, you refused to talk to the mainstream media.
I refuse to, for now, yes. I wanted to give you guys the first scoop because, you always present both sides of an argument and you're very fair and balanced. So I thought it was only right that Rebel News has the first scoop of me speaking.
And Rukshan was allowed to join. But if you enjoyed it, firstly, like, comment, share. This is your new representative now in government, and my undertaking is that we will make sure to be there to cover all your stories, the ones that the mainstream media will refuse to do, and also to tell it fairly first off. So when you tell us what's going on, we will put a break in the mainstream media's twisting of the story. So if you want to ensure to receive all of that from here on in for the next 6 years, I'm committing to 6 years. Are you committing to 6 years? Committing to 6 years.
6 years.
Then make sure to subscribe at yeminireport.com or jump on even on Facebook on Rukshan's page. Give him a
The
like.
real
a
Rukshan,
follow.
guys, at the
The
real
real Rukshan. Is there a fake one as well, Dylan? At the real Rukshan on Facebook. Anywhere else to follow?
Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
There you go. And is there somewhere that the people can follow you?
Look, I just made a Twitter a couple of days ago. Senator Babet. Just search it in the thing. I'm really not sure about Twitter. I just jumped on and it's
good fun. It's good.
Wait
Wait till you meet PR guy.
PR guy 17.
Guys, like, comment, share, and we'll catch you next time.